This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2014 Coachman Freedom Express. And the model number would be 236 BHS. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the features and how they work here. So, you have regular crank down stabilizers, one on each corner. Here we have the plumbing drain right here, the low points, hot and cold water. You have a power awning, of course. You have a TV signal out with some power for a TV set. This is the access panel, the service panel for your refrigerator. Your refrigerator is a gas absorption style, so it works on 120 AC or LP gas. I'll show you that when we get inside. Okay, and then you have outside speakers. This is a vent for the range hood. So if you're going to be if you're cooking and venting to the outside, you want that baffle in there to be flapping freely. You can see there's a little tab on each side. You can just move them to the open position with your index finger, and it'll flap freely. Okay. So you have pass-through storage here, as you can see. Some lights. Up front here you have a battery, 2 LP tanks with regulator. You have your power tongue jack. If this power tongue jack ever fails for any reason, you can pull this plug right here and use your 3/4 inch crank to crank this manually to get yourself out of trouble if you need to get hitched and unhitched it and it malfunctions for whatever reason. You can also use a 3/4 inch socket on a powered drill, or a battery powered drill. So either way you can get yourself out of trouble. Okay, here's the other side of your pass-through. This is your the most common way to get water to the trailer is the city water hookup, which is farther down. But this is the second most common. This is the fill for your fresh water tank. So if you're happen to be camping someplace that doesn't have city water hookup, let's say you're boondocking or whatever, you can pre-fill this tank here. Then when you get where you're going, you can use the onboard 12-volt onboard pump to pump the water, and all the plumbing will work as though you have city water. You'll just be pumping it from your own tank. I'll show you the switch for the pump also when we get inside. Your freshwater tank drain is under here. You can see it right there, I believe. Yes. Slide room is here. You have a pull-out cord, 30 amp power cord. So 30 amp short cord. You have your water heater right here. So this is drained right now. It's empty. You can see there's the plug there, and there's where it goes into right there, screws into. Right now this is bypassed, and it's empty because the trailer's winterized. So it runs on the switch. I'll show you the switches inside. The thing to remember is never run this without water in it before you use it in the springtime or summertime. Make sure you put the plug in and fill it back up. Put the valves in the correct position, and you'll be all set for the summer. Campground cable through. This is the city water hookup, the most common way to get water to the trailer. You just hook your hose on there and you're all set. Of course, this is just an outside shower / sprayer. These are your dump valves, gray and black. Of course, black is toilet water and waste. Gray is sink and shower water. I don't know if that's open. Yes. There's your crank for your stabilizers and for the power tongue jack if you need it. Okay. Make sure you inspect your roof periodically to make sure there's no damage to it that could be caused by, low branches or road debris flying up there, anything like that. Just give it a good inspection every now and then to make sure there's nothing wrong with it and everything's good and tight. People generally don't inspect their roof enough, so make sure you take care of that. So here we have your slide room in and out, and then of course your power awning in and out. Power awning. That's simple. Just remember, never leave it out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campground, roll it in. Okay, and then you have your slide room here. Always make sure nothing's in the way, make sure that, like that cabinet door there, make sure that's latched before you put it out. Anything you could get snagged on or snared on, and make sure there's nothing on the outside that it can be hitting right now. And there you have it. As soon as you hear that ratcheting sound, you take your finger off the button. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Looking for some lights here. Okay. Okay, so TV obviously. Your sound system here, it plays discs, as you can see. It's got Bluetooth. You get speakers, inside and outside speakers. You can select them. AM, FM radio, all the usual stuff. That is a USB drive right there, so you can put all your MP3s onto a little USB thumb drive and take them with you if you choose to. And that's your remote for that, and I think that's what that is. Yeah, and then you have a TV remote, of course. Alrighty, your dinette this tabletop can drop down onto these cleats down here all the way around. You can use the cushions to fill in space and turn that into a bed if you need to. Your keys are hanging here on the sink. Your microwave works like any other microwave. This is the range hood we talked about. It's got a light in it and a fan. So if you're cooking and venting to the outside, make sure you open that vent on the outside that we talked about. When it comes to your range, this is the sparkler. It's all self-explanatory. You're just gonna light it up. I think the gas is shut off right now, but you're just gonna turn it to light and spark it by turning it clockwise, and that's that simple. Your refrigerator, like I stated, it's a gas absorption, meaning it'll run on regular 120 AC current. It also runs on LP gas. Keep in mind that this thing here, this wire you see going up into this plastic clip, and then you see the sticker there that says warmer, and up higher you go, cooler. That's how you set the temperature. That's called a thermistor. Generally want that up all the way like it is. The higher you go with it, the cooler the refrigerator is. So generally you're going to have it like that. If it ever falls out of that clip, you just tuck it back in. It's just something to hold the thermistor in the upright position. Okay. On and off here. Right now you can't see very well, but it's on auto. Auto is what you want generally, because auto means auto electric. So what happens when you're on auto is it seeks out regular household current, regular campground current, and uses it. If it can't find it, it'll automatically switch over to gas and light the gas burner, right? Or another illustration, if let's say you get up early and we all take off to go exploring for the day. It's a hot day. Soon after you leave, the campground has a power failure. So the AC power goes out in the campground. Well, it'll sense that, and it'll automatically switch over and light on gas for you so you don't spoil your food. So keep that in mind. You can push the gas button and light it, dedicate it on gas, like if you're pulling it down the road, you can do that. But when you're camping, generally you're going to have it on auto. Okay? Excuse me. This is the power converter right here. This converts AC to DC power, and you push it to open it. So when you're plugged into shore power, you have 120 AC at these circuit breakers here. These are just like you'd see at home, and then of course they're labeled, right? So that's your distribution center for your regular AC power. Then the power is converted from AC to DC over here, and so you have 12-volt DC fuses here, and they're all labeled. So that's where the DC power comes from. And also when you're plugged in, it'll sense the battery up front on the tongue and see how charged it is, and if it needs to be charged, it'll send as many amps necessary up there to keep it charged up for you. So when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle will charge your battery, and when you're plugged into shore power, this power converter charges the battery as needed. So it's the power converter. It's your AC 120 AC distribution panel. It converts AC to DC power, so it distributes the DC power here, and it charges your battery. Okay, this here should always be green. That is your propane detector and carbon monoxide detector, so it does both. So if it's not glowing green, get it serviced immediately. It's obviously very important. You don't want to just forget about it or ignore it. If it's not working, it also has a test button on it. If it's not working, if you don't see it glowing green, or if it won't respond to the test, get it taken care of immediately. They're not expensive, and it's well worth it, of course. Thermostat is very simple. You just hit the mode button, and the furnace and then the cool and the fan will light up, and just keep rotating through it till you pick which one you want. Furnace obviously is your LP furnace, cool is your air conditioning, and fan is the air conditioner running without the compressor, so it just circulates air. So it's very simple, and of course there's your temperature. These are your tank monitors here. So the water pump we talked about is right here. Use that water pump to pump water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water. It's also used to winterize the trailer. Then you can light your water heater on gas here, light the gas burner, or you can just run it on electric here, the electric heating element. That's what most people do. When they get to the campground, they'll run the electric heating element, and it gives them hot water to wash up and do what they need to do. But if they're going to use the shower, then they'll kick on the gas burner, so you get more hot water with faster recovery. Like I said, make sure there's water in the water heater tank before you turn it on. You don't want to damage the heating element or anything, any parts of the water heater. Right now it's empty and it's in bypass mode. So when you get ready for camping and you put the trailer into camping mode, you're going to put your bypass valves on the back of the water heater into camping mode. Put the plug in the water heater itself. Then you'll hook up your city water, and to make sure the hot water tank is full, you'll hook up your city water. Then you'll come inside go to any hot water valve on the trailer, turn it on, and of course, because the water heater tank is empty, air will come out. You'll just hear air spurting out, and then as it fills, you get a mixture of air and water spurting out, and eventually you get a solid stream of water coming out. That's when you know it's full. Then it's safe to turn it on. Okay. All right. Simple enough. Sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. You have a GFCI here. Keep in mind that every plug in the trailer, even the ones that are just normal receptacles, are still wired through a GFCI. So if you're using a different plug that's just a regular one and it pops, you're going to go to the nearest GFCI and see if it needs to be reset. You lose a receptacle, always think GFCI first. Okay. The toilet works like all RV toilets. The flush pedal is right here. When you get to the campground, you can't use it dry. So when you get to the campground, you know your tanks have already been dumped from the last time you left the campground. So you got empty black tanks. So what you do is you pull into your campground, obviously, or your spot, and you'll hook up your power and your water. Then you'll come in here and you'll put a dose of chemical right in the bowl. Then you'll step down on the pedal and hold it down and put at least a gallon of water into the tank along with the dose of chemical. You can use more than a gallon of water, just don't use less. Most people use more. And you're all set. But if you don't do that, it's considered using it dry. And if you use it dry, it'll get clogged up, it'll smell terrible, it'll just be a mess. So you always want to use your dose of chemical and at least a gallon of water when you start off. Okay? Simple enough. So we'll move up to the front bedroom. It just has a little space under the bed. Of course, you pull these doors open, and you can spin the TV around, I believe, with this model. Let me look to make sure. Yes, TV spins around. You have speakers in here also, so this would probably be zone 3, or zone B, I should say. A, B, and probably B. And of course, you have your emergency window, like all trailers do. And you'll just push it all the way through. Then you grab a hold of the tab and you pull the screen out, and you can escape during an emergency just by doing that. Okay? Alrighty. So I think that pretty much covers it. Let me look around real quick. The fire extinguisher is there, of course. I mentioned your keys there. Okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof. You know, you want to go up there in the summer, take a look around, make sure everything's good and tight. If you see an issue, take care of it immediately. Any place you see sealant from the factory on the trailer, you want to look at to make sure it's in good shape. If you're going to patch it up, you never use caulk from the hardware store. always go to an RV place and get ProFlex. In this case, it would probably be clear ProFlex. So when it comes to the roof seams, you'll use a product called Dicor. Just go there and explain to them what you're doing, and they'll point you in the right direction. Just don't use hardware store caulk. It's not strong enough. So, okay. And last but not least, right now we're winterized, so the water heater is empty and bypassed, and there's antifreeze in the system. So you're all set till warm weather. Okay. Thank you very much.